Okay, and we are back. Welcome back. Um, so the next thing we're gonna do, and I'm gonna go back into the tavern in a moment. This is sort of my, if you haven't noticed, I've got this kind of off-game and on-game background, right? With this kind of bright background, we're strictly talking out of character. We're not really going to be talking about the game itself. And then when we jump into the tavern, that's when we're actually playing our game. I'm hoping to kind of keep those reasonably separate. So in the next thing, which I will jump into, I would like to talk to everybody about their characters, a little bit about their connections with each other, and I want to do that by asking each player character, for now just once per person, to ask one question of one other player character. It can be about your connection to that person, or it can be about something else. This is all improvised, right? I mean, other than Jeff, not everybody has lots and lots of stuff written. I say it with love. I do the same thing. I'm the same guy, so that's why, you know, game recognizes game, as I think the young ones say, or the old ones say, more like the old ones. So let's start with M. Why don't you ask a question to another character, either in character or out of character, totally up to you, um, to try to flesh these characters out a little bit more.
And who won?
Oh, no. I feel like you would have won.
One moment really quick. I'm going to stop you really fast. Yep, I got you. Thank you very much, chat. You're all looking out. I love you very much. I went ahead and, because during the break I muted you and I forgot to unmute you when I got back. So we're good. We're good. We're good. Would you, M, be so kind as to ask Jen again the question that you just asked, and we're just going to roll on like nothing happened.
Okay. Assuming that we have a background connection, what is the biggest argument that our characters have gotten into and who won?
Well, this probably we would have been teenagers. I feel like we would have either been fostered or gone to school or had the same tutor or something. So something school related. And maybe it was about some stupid esoteric thing that is one way in the history books and another way in the bardic songs, and I'm here for the bardic songs and you're here for the history books, and we fought about the difference between things that are exaggerated for bardic value versus history for history's sake.
History. It must be true, of course.
There's
you and your silly songs.
There's not one truth. There's lots of truths. Plus, your truth is different than her truth and his truth and the other truth over there. And, the bards are singing the holistic truth.
The holistic truth, of course. Simple words. And yet still, you just keep going on and still be wrong.
Really? Ow, wow, I just hit my table, as you can see from me going whoa, 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 really fast. So, yes, no, I actually almost teleported for a moment, but I wanted to say to Nathaniel, we got started at roughly 6:45, not counting me royally screwing everything up.
Never did.
But there will absolutely be a VOD, and I will be including my screw up in the VOD because, you know what? You gotta see these things, and I have it under perfect authority that you cannot actually edit audio or video after the fact. It's just not physically possible to edit audio or video after the fact. You just can't do it. So we're just gonna leave it in as is. It'll be fine.
Don't lie to the children.
I'll bring signs with cliff notes for all the stuff that happened off camera.
M and Jen, that was wonderful. Thank you both. So we now know a little bit that Hyacinth likes finding the literal truth, the facts of what happened. Whereas, I'm sorry, Jen, give me your character's name one more time.
Clarion.
Clarion. I will remember Clarion because Clarion is the name of the silver dragon in Storm King's Thunder, which is another game that I am running right now, not on stream. So Clarion.
Also the sound of bells.
Clarion.
Yeah, it's a sound pun for a bard.
and we know that Clarion is all about finding a good story, whether it's necessarily true or not. I mean, who's to really say? It makes for a good story. I think that's wonderful and amazing. Let's jump over to Alexis. Why don't you ask a question of another player character, please?
All right. Does it have to be to a specific player? Can it be the party?
It can be totally to the party. I'm 100% on board.
All right, party. Who hired me?
Or are we going to fight about this?
Maybe you both tried to hire me at the same point, and I'm too confused to ask who pays me, so I just come follow along, and that's how it's been.
It could be a collective thing. Like we all looked at each other and went, "We are very squishy. We definitely need muscle."
Nose goes.
Righteous. All right.
Really quick, did you know that she was of Orcish noble blood when you hired her? Her? I'm sorry. I'm assuming your character is female. Okay.
I probably keep that really low key. Like I probably I'm the one at the bar who's like challenging people to like drinking contests and push up contests, and 4 drinks in, I'm like, all right, I can lift anyone in this bar, and like I'm the show off.
So you're on the oops end of oops all no bulls, not no bulls.
Yeah, I'm getting very strong Disenchanted vibes. You know, the princess who drinks and fights and gets into gambling and all that other stuff, just with orcs. And yes, perfect. I love it. Like I said, I asked for tropes, and my goodness, did you all deliver. You all absolutely delivered, and I love it. Let's go with Jeff. Why don't you go ahead and ask a question to a player character or to the group at large?
Sure. I intended these more to I think I'll target this one to Jen and M. I have a separate question I would like to ask Alexis. So we're all of like established noble houses. We all clearly know each other, and we clearly, I think that we have a degree of friendship enough to trust each other to go adventuring. What do our families think of this?
My families love it. My families, remember, my parents are freaking paragons. They're great.
I'd like to roll an insight check on Clarion.
We're not there yet. Put the dice away.
My thinking is that I'm coming from like the strong, manipulative, disapproving type. So he probably is outwardly friendly toward Clarion's family and hates their guts.
That's probably true.
But meanwhile, like Clarion's parents love me because I'm perfectly happy and polite, and they give me food, and I love them, and I will burn the world to protect them.
I'm getting strong Invictus vibes, but of course I'm getting strong Invictus vibes.
Shh, I'm not allowed to play one of those.
I know.
Invictus-y?
To bring everyone else in on the joke, New World of Darkness is the game that unifies a lot of us. So like Vampire the Requiem is a game that we've all played a lot of, so I was making a joke there.
All right.
Anyway.
So M, our parents, what's that dynamic?
Whereas my parents are like I grew up away from them, and my foster parents, my aunt and uncle, are totally fine with this, specifically because I told them exactly why I wanted to go adventuring, which had absolutely nothing to do at all with that girl that I definitely want to date.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And court and marry and stuff. Definitely not. No, it's entirely because I want to make a better name for my house entirely, and for no other reason whatsoever.
So noble. So very, very noble.
I have a feeling I know your aunt and uncle, and I think they're fine. They're nice people. They don't trust me,
right.
but critically, I'm polite to them, and they do not trust me.
And then I believe you had a separate question to ask Alexis. Jeff?
Yes. So you are a mercenary, but you are clearly in this. You're clearly available to be hired by these wealthy people. What is your thought of the noble houses?
Oh, everybody's been chill so far. I think it's great. Like I come from a society that's up in the mountains, and we don't interact a whole lot with a lot of the other people. So like this is like my coming out into the world and getting to meet everybody. So far, so good. You know, I hear a lot about wars and stuff, but everybody's been chill as far as I've seen.
Yeah. I like that.
You're Rumspringer.
Yeah, very much that.
That's wonderful.
And I, as an aside question, what is Mr. Boulder Shoulder's relationship with Oops All Nobles? Just so we have that out of the way.
Yeah, that's a question I would like to have answered, please. Thank you. Oh, he disappeared.
Rob,
You tell
hello?
Sorry, I'm back. What'd I miss? We only have 26 people
We asked
watching.
you questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
We wanted to ask you what is Mr. Boulder Shoulder's relationship with Oops All Nobles?
So I was going to do the mercenary thing, but that seems to be done now. So here's what we're going to say. Barnabas is going to have a life debt to one of you.
Ooh.
Or possibly more than one of you, or possibly the group. What do you think? Like, you know, we're talking about the stalwart dwarf, right? The dwarf who will do anything and literally move mountains for his friends. So
I have a proposal.
what's your proposal?
It's not to any one of us, but to one of our families, and he is sworn not to tell.
Interesting. So it's like he was hired by one of your families, but part of his contract is he doesn't get to tell you which family hired him. It's a thought. Anybody else have any other ideas, or
really
do you like that?
That's
Yeah?
great.
Okay, I'm down with that. I'm down.
Yeah.
with
We all look at our parents and go, "Yeah, they would do that."
Kistrel is already making predictions. She says it's the Bard's parents.
I mean, like that could just be it. Could be all any of our parents. It could be none of them. It could be the chief.
Could have been all of them.
Like this. So this dwarf. Now, admittedly, because he's a character in a long-running game, chances are he'll have a personality eventually. But as he starts, he's going to be taking orders, and that's it. Like he's going to be a beat stick, and you know he'll stick his hand into the obviously trapped door if that's absolutely what needs to be done for the party. You're going to be having to watch over him. He has an intelligence of 8, so he's you know not dumb, but he's just going to follow orders. That's going to be sort of his personality.
He
For
was
a
not
while.
hired for his tactical brilliance.
Exactly.
Get along.
He's
Rob,
not
did you
a decision maker. He's a follower.
did you give us plain ramen? Did you give us a plain ramen dwarf?
It seems, I guess, perhaps.
Add your own flavorings. Like, what is this?
Yes, you get to. We're gonna sprinkle on something later on, and we'll see. Like, I don't want to make an NPC that is going to end up solving puzzles for you. Is the thing, and you will be meeting NPCs along the way that are going to join the party. So I'm going to have, or maybe be killed by the party. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I want to try to keep myself from having to do too many things at once. I might make. So Barnabas is really going to be the only NPC I've got. Even if it's our rogue that isn't here for some reason, then you got Barnabas. And Barnabas can't find traps except with his face. Yes, Jen.
Remember my concept about my loot being one of my weapons?
Yes. Loot,
How do
L-U-T-E.
Do that. I want to figure out how to make it so that my loot is indestructible. Therefore, if I need to, I can just smack somebody with it.
If you want to make, if you choose a magical, any sort of magical instrument, and there are some common magical items that are instruments. If you choose one of those, I will say that because it's magical, it's also indestructible. Well,
Okay, let me see if I can find one.
It is reasonably more durable that it won't crack if it hits someone on the head.
Yes. Yes.
Multiple
and
times.
Hartman 27 makes the exact same reference that I made 20 seconds after you said that, which is kabong!
How do I? No, I don't actually see any in the items that are magical weapons.
They're not weapons. You're gonna have to probably
Or
put
no
in...
magical tools, like no magical instruments at all.
Hold on, I got you. Let's jump into the tabletop really quick. So I'm going to items, and I am going to
Dagny
rarity.
asks, do we have Himbo Dwarf?
How much respect?
I'm down
women
for it.
dwarf-
Yes.
How much respect women juice does this dwarf drink exactly?
Hold on for a second. I'm trying to do something.
I think that
Y'all
regardless of the
are
answer, the answer, I
sabotaging
think,
the
here,
stream.
drink, I will pass them a flask that says, "Here, drink this juice."
Barnabas and I are best friends.
So
Just
really quick, if I go into magical items and I type in the word loot, Lute, I get...
How do you get magical items?
Interesting. So none of them say loot. So I'm gonna really quick.
There is one that says loot right there.
No, it says loot, but I'm looking for one that's actually a loot that does something.
We'll just have to add it.
There we go. Okay, stop. Instrument of the bards is what you want to look for. Oh wait, no, that's very rare. Never mind, that's not the thing you want to look for.
No, just make. You can change the names of anything.
It's fine. Yeah.
Honestly, we don't need to overthink it. We can just say it is a loot. It is well constructed. It uses the stats of a club.
I agree. That's totally fine. We'll just put a club into your inventory, and we'll say the club is
my
your
inventory.
Your iron reinforced loot.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I will own and as a result, I'll make sure that
I'm
you
not
don't have
going to be hitting people a lot with the club. I have a sword. I have a dagger.
Look, I'm saying you have just activated Chekhov's loot, so obviously it's going to have to come up.
It's going to have to hit something. Yes, you are correct. That will happen. It's not my first weapon because she's my lady, but...
Okay.
There might be a simple solution to all of this. Just give me a second.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at the bard camp. They get mending. Done. One of your cantrips can just be mending. So whenever it breaks, you cast a cantrip to fix it.
And you know what? Mending is...
I couldn't do it if it actually broke. No, she's my love. I actually took my bond as my instrument, as my most precious thing to me.
Oh, that's so sweet. Break it.
It's like, I'll seduce all of you, but I'm married to my loot.
Folks in chat have decided that Barnabas is Kronk, and I'm on board. I'm on board. I'll have to go watch Emperor's New Groove again and get into that character. Not that I hope... I'll play him today as part of today's sort of example encounter, which is coming right up, friends. But normally he's not going to be there. Like, if all four of you are here, we're not going to see Barnabas. Barnabas is the himbo that shows up
with our stuff.
Yes. Okay. So let's go ahead and go back into the in-game so I can see all of your beautiful faces and the game board, and of course my gorgeous face.
Where do I put gold? Where do I put my gold?
Gold
underneath equipment, in the treasure section. You just need to put in numbers and then add GP.
Okay.
So I'm going to inventory and I see treasure. You can put in GP and put in a number. I think fighters, you said, get 2d4, so he'll start with 200 gold. So that's GP.
So here's a question, Rob.
Yes, M.
Initially you said we could do the randomly rolled backgrounds through the background creator?
Yes.
Or the origin creator?
Sure.
In there is the opportunity to earn more starting character gold. Does that work or no?
I don't want to complicate things.
So no?
So I think we're gonna just leave it with the base. Yeah.
Simple and easy.
Fair enough.
Question.
Yes.
Does it automatically equip your armor?
Oh, good question. I think it does, but let's go ahead and take a look at the player character just in case. If you look at after the weight, there's a symbol. And the symbols are either like a little bag for it's carried or a little shirt for it's equipped. And if you click on that symbol, you can change it from it's not on me to it's on me to it's equipped.
Excellent.
Yeah. And again, with most things, I think it automatically equips when you put them on, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, equipped or carried.
One other thing I would like to note, because Sherog does not have a portrait yet. When you inevitably, because Alexis is a wonderful artist, when you inevitably come up with your own avatar for this, there's a folder. It shouldn't be too difficult to find in your own computer that you'll be able to upload that into, and then you'll be able to do what I'm about to do, which is hit the, not the assets button. Actually, yeah.
I already put in my own custom portrait.
Yeah. And I'm just double clicking the portrait, and for now, because you're a half orc, I'm gonna go into like this, and I'm gonna look for half orcs. There we go. So that's you for now. You can always change it.
But that picture's hot.
I think I thought it was a good picture. Yeah, I thought it worked out really well. Okay.
Inclined to agree.
Kind of big. Like, imagine this. Just literally imagine the loot from Road to El Dorado.
So I am going to go. So here's the way the next little section of this is going to go. Okay, I'm going to go and I'm actually going to physically grab the Yawning Portal book, and I am going to read word for word a couple of the plot hooks that are given in the module. Because again, dungeon masters are often pressured to come up with their own hooks and their own, original stuff. So I'm going to present the hooks that the book presents, and I will let you four decide how you want to engage with that. Jen, I see you have something to say in regards to what was just said in chat. Please go ahead.
I was just pointing at M and going, yes, I guess we are Miguel and Tulio.
And Tulio, this is fantastic.
There's another thing I have to put Road El Dorado on my playlist as well. I asked for tropes.
I would love to just point out Joggywager's comment of Chekhov's loot. That's good. That's
nice.
good.
Good. Nice.
I need a rim shot sound effect. Obviously, I can't believe I didn't have one. That is on me, friends. I failed you all.
Just some loot.
Amazing. Okay. So let's see. So everyone's got their characters. Yeah, we're all good.
As it's gonna be for now.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it.
So I'm going to turn my microphone off. I'm going to step away for a moment. Actually, I happen to know that, Jeff, you tend to be an endless font of these wonderful questions. So while I'm off and looking for my book, which I think is just on that table over there, go ahead and ask one more question of the group or of another player character. I know you've got one on you.
Oh, of course. I have a couple. Let's see. What's a good, fun one? We're a feudal society. We deal with a bunch of weird stuff. What's your character? And we live in a world where magic and gods are very literally real things. How religious are we? Like nobles, kind of go intertwined with church, so it's a thing we've had to deal with, likely.
That really depends on the culture of the specific country, though. Speaking as a history major.
That's fair, but looking at your own morality, your own alignment, what kind of god do you think your character might, what kind of cultural impacts might have made that?
I feel like, okay, so Hyacinth, I think, has some level of church religion, a state religion, follows a state religion. But it's not like I'm gonna go into the church. Like,
But
it's
you,
not that type of a thing.
yeah,
It's the casual D&D polytheist.
yeah, okay.
But like more leaning towards the deity of their homeland.
You went to whatever deity lived closest, was like had the largest, most established influence in your area.
I mean, it's more of the kind of like the way that like a Catholic would pray to the saints occasionally,
Yeah.
like, oh, I need to use this one for this specific reason, that one for that one, that type of thing.
Okay. Okay, and so I think I'm really interested in Alexis's answer because I want to hear what her perspective is.
I feel like half orcs get really weird around religion because like a lot of orcs are like Orcus and Grumsh, and like half orcs tend to steer away depending on the tribe. I feel like Shirog probably has a really limited understanding of religion. Like she had a really good chicken pot pie once, and like that's religion to her.
Okay, that's
really quick,
great answer.
I wanna to respond to something that's going on in chat. It looks like Hedgie Cleric had some message deleted for some reason. I do have an auto moderator that sometimes gets a little bit overzealous. I promise it has nothing to do with you. Even when I try to set it to the lowest level, sometimes the auto mod just goes crazy. So I promise it's not something that any of my actual human moderators who are in chat right now is doing to you. In fact, I should have just unmodded Streamlabs before this stream, and I will make sure to not make that mistake next time.
Because that's a bit of an overzealous one.
Yes, it very much is.
I mean, it was probably a link. That being said, you could probably have a moderator post it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a couple of now. I've been watching a lot of videos from other dungeon masters who have run this, and sort of what they suggested to do with the plot hooks. And they talked about weaving them together and all sorts of fun stuff. But never have I ever been involved in a game or seen a game that actually just out of character dropped the plot hooks in front of the character or the players and let you make your own story. And the reason why I chose all y'all is because you are amazing, every single one of you, at making stories. Like that is the reason why I'm here. So there will be times during this game where you'll ask me, hey, who's in the tavern? And I'll say, I don't know, who's in the tavern? And I will yes and whatever each of you says. I mean, sometimes there will be really interesting plot quests in there and whatnot, but sometimes it's fun to just talk about, I don't know, some random furbolg that walked in and is drinking booze while invisible. Like, I don't know. You get to tell me these things.
We're gonna have fun with that. Thank you so much for that.
I love making a world together rather than saying this is the world, deal with it.
Okay.
Okay. So here are the three that are given. Okay. The first one is going for glory, so I'm not going to bother with that one. If you just want, if fame and money is your thing, then you're in the right place. So if that's your character's goal and motivator, then awesome. I'm looking specifically at you, Alexis. The second one, rescue mission. Another party of adventurers, locally based, delved into the Sunless Citadel a month past. They were never seen again. Two human members of that ill-fated party were brother and sister, Talgan Hukrell, a fighter, and Sharwin Hukrell, a wizard. They were part of an important merchant family based in the nearby village of Oakhurst. And I'll go ahead and put this in chat, by the way. I think I can find the actual text and put it in chat. Kerwin Hukrell, the matriarch of the family, offers salvage rights to you and your team if you can find and return with the two lost members of her family, or at least return the gold signet rings that were worn by her brother and her sister. She offers a reward of 125 gold per signet ring per character, and she'll double that reward for everyone that you can bring back alive. So the first bit is basically, hey, this other adventurer went into this place, they never came back, can you go check it out for me, please? And that way you'll be able to probably find the trail of the other adventurers, and that'll lead you to the Citadel. The third one, and this is kind of a big one, and it's part of the story regardless, so I'm going to go ahead and read this one as well. This is called Solving a Mystery. The goblin tribe infesting the nearby ruins sells a few pieces, and by the way, to those of you in chat who have played Sunless Citadel before, I will be making some changes, so deal with it. Goblins seem to be selling maybe a half a dozen pieces of fruit, of apples, every single year around the solstice, the summer solstice, and another half a dozen apples around the winter solstice. Now, they've been doing this for 12 years, and the fruit is super ridiculously valuable. Not only does it sell for 50 gold or more each, but also the fruit apparently heals those who suffer from any disease or any other ailment. Folks have been trying to cultivate these plants, obviously, because if you have a magic apple that can cure anything, they've been trying to plant the trees. But so far, nobody's been able to actually create a tree that creates the fruit. There is also, around winter, another sort of goblin sale where a small number of dead white apples get sent out, and they have the exact opposite effect. And they're favored by assassins' guilds and such because they are extraordinarily toxic. And we know that Oakhurst, this town, is the place where they are all sort of spreading from. You can find these apples in Waterdeep. I mean, anyone who has enough money can find one eventually, right? But anybody who is interested in where these apples come from finds their way to Oakhurst eventually.
Okay.
I kind of feel like the apple hook might be best for us as Uppsala nobles. Specifically,
and not the hunting down other nobles.
It's a merchant family, let's be honest.
There's nothing to say it can't be a combination, by the way.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. But I mean, like the hook of, you know, here's some incredibly valuable things, where are they coming from, might be of relevant interest to the noble half of our band.
Yeah. What does our other folks think? Jeff, what's on your mind right now?
Like I like the idea of a combination because like I'm playing the mystically inclined person, so that's like so the apples is a interesting question for me. And like as a side, and it's like the same area as I've heard this other of this bounty that's been placed for the return of the Signet Ring / missing siblings.
Well, it looks good, right? Like bringing back some.
Yeah. I like the idea of doing this, like of them being like an old friend and just wanting to do them a favor.
I love it. I think that's a great plan. The other thing, and I'm going to ask the two folks who haven't talked yet in a second, but the other thing to consider is, do you want, and this is again an out of character thing that you get to decide, do you want this campaign to begin near the summer solstice or near the winter solstice? We're going to start it near one of the times when one of the crops is about to be sold, because, spoiler alert, there is a non-zero but not 100% chance that you might find your way to some of these apples.
Summer is my preference.
Same.
Because we're already surrounded by miserable cold IRL, I'd rather have the opposite of that.
We're only going to be playing every other week, and who knows when it'll be when we get there.
It will be a bit, but we'll see. This is not a long dungeon, especially given how ingenious I know a lot of you are. I expect you to be able to navigate a lot of it pretty quickly, but that's kind of giving away the game, so I'm just gonna shut the fuck up there. I have a lot of confidence in your abilities to navigate the challenges ahead. Yeah. What else? I think that's so. It sounds like, in fact, so Alexis, I know your character is hired. She is there. But do you have any do you have anything to add?
Out of game, I think my character does not have the intelligence to understand merchant things. But out of game,
you and Barnabas.
Yeah, we're best friends. I got bracelets and everything.
So we've got Kronk and Scorpia, essentially.
100. But that third option with the apples, I think that will tie in really well. If we want to do a long-term story, I think that ties in really well with the nobility plot.
And I'm going to assume that Clarion just wants to make the best pie ever. No, what's
I don't think, but yes.
Clarion's in it for the story, I imagine. But tell
I'm
me, what
always
are you?
here for the story.
Might I suggest cider?
Yes.
Could be fun.
Yes.
Could be fun. Okay.
I think we're also agreed on summer as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, summer makes sense to me because that's when early apples would be showing up.
All right. So
And not creepy ghost apples.